作りぼチャンネル。
waiting in the basement apartment I rented with you. Remembering the holiday party we had with the crew. Romeo was roaming the garden. Saturday was spent in a parking lot. Gave it all we got. It was so with you. Spending the night in Dixon. 60-odd miles from a plant. Is it too late to learn to listen? Too late to be less a man. How many yesterdays are between us now? How many yesterdays are between us now? Carried it on. Cobbling miles as we go. A line at a time, or a sad swan song, offering up purple prose. And I'd find you if I could, invite you to the final act. But I think it's misunderstood. Nothing good could come of that. How many yesterdays are between us now? How many yesterdays are between us now? How many yesterdays are between us now?